listening to The Heart of the House, and this is a show that will get into the weeds of the service industry.
Well, Dana, we are here on, what is the date? It's the 18th of March.
AKA the day after St. Patrick's Day for a lot of people.
Right.
Congratulations, service industry peeps, for surviving another St. Patrick's Day.
But of course, here in Jacktown, the mega event on our social calendar is the Saturday after St. Patrick's Day, 22nd, Hal's St. Patty's Parade and Festival.
The parade day.
It's D-Day for the service industry.
It is D-Day
town.
for the service industry, particularly if you are downtown. That is correct. This one looks to be a really big parade. The weather is supposed to be beautiful. The preparations are at hand, and everybody's ready to rock it out. I hope everybody has a really good time this year. And having said that, you have to make sure that on the flip side of that, as people attending parades and these things, that you are very prepared, where you park, where you're walking, be aware of where you're going. And some places, don't run into doors and poles. And also, there's some legality about open containers. We just want everybody to have a good time.
We don't do Go Cups.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure, I think in certain parts of downtown, they're considered resort areas, so there will be Go Cups, but they won't be going in your car with you home.
No. That's not that kind of Go Cup,
correct,
ladies and gentlemen.
You can walk around with your beverage, but that is very much frowned upon.
Give me a sense of how busy that whole festival environment can be for an establishment that is right there on the parade route. Martin's.
We almost call it service industry in Jackson in particular. It's like a giant homecoming because it's so big that even individuals that perhaps have gotten out of the service industry, you will see them bartending, serving beers, working booths. It's just that big. Per capita, I believe the Jackson St. Patrick's Day Parade is the largest in the country. I don't know how that can be disputed because I've seen it with my own eyes. Right. And coming from out west where, I used to participate in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in another incarnation, I can say it is actually very, very big. Mm-hmm. I think when people are out and about, some things just to keep in mind from the people who are working from their perspective. It is a very long day. From setup, this takes months of preparation. The day after, you clean and you start preparing for the year next.
Right.
I think a lot of people need to understand that it is a long day for people. And by the time you hit that end of parade mark and everybody's wanting to get their drinks, their food, show some grace, please. Mm-hmm. Those people are they've been out in the sun all day. It's a long day dealing with everybody coming at them. In the industry, you really kind of get used to your regulars. And when people who are not your regulars start coming at you en masse.
Talk about that. Talk about the category of customer or of patron that you come to expect in one of these rowdy parade situations, festival situations.
Typically the people are... Of course, they're going to be boisterous. They might be, you're not quite sure where they're coming from, how much they've been served. So it kind of puts you a little bit more pressure on the people that are serving, having to be more aware of how people hit their limit.
Yeah. Because
people kind of let it all hang out on St. Patrick's Day. That is the day for good or for bad,
sure,
for a lot of public drunkenness and a lot of shenanigans, so to speak.
I know of what you speak. I am of what you speak and have been there and done that.
Right. So you're going to have those different factions. You're also going to have your regulars. You're going to have your friends that you haven't seen in a while. They're going to, show up. And then you have, people from all over the state actually come to this thing. People from as far as Louisiana, I believe, come up here for the sweet potato queens and things of that nature. So it's not just localized. I believe it's a great opportunity for people to really kind of connect on a very fun basis. But got to have safety. Safety is key.
And you mentioned Louisiana. Last Saturday, they were supposed to have the big St. Patty's parades there last Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, and they had the weather, which was hitting them like it hit us. So you could see some of those people coming up here more so this year than not.
Correct, because they missed out. And we have friends coming up from Louisiana for that very purpose.
And for, Jackson, there is nothing so close to Mardi Gras carnival season than this one day when you get tens of thousands of people coming to line this parade route in Jackson, Mississippi.
Green Mardi Gras. It is intense. But I will say this much. This one is a little bit different. I believe that the tone of this parade will be different simply because of the tragedies that we've suffered this past week with the weather. I know that, for the people out attending the parade and some of us in the service industry, there are people all over town trying to raise money, trying to, make sure that people get supplies, the things they need to the communities in the state that have been tragically affected by these storms. So while we're having a good time, I also like people to keep in mind that, be generous. Some of these people, we have people coming up to work from some of these damaged places, I'm quite sure. Then we have friends that are usually on the parade or on the parade route from different areas that have been affected. So I would really hope that if, when people encounter that they just give generously during your time during the parade. It really is important.
And don't forget as well, it is a fundraiser in its origin.
That is exactly right.
Children's of Mississippi, great hospital. Here in the Magnolia State, and they deserve your support as well every year. Every year.
And like I say, it takes on a different tone when things like this happen. So we do ask people to go out and spend generously and just have a good, safe time.
Well, speaking of children, do you find a lot of young people trying to score an underage drink, when it's a chaotic, kind of bar situation like that?
Of course.
Yeah.
The big trick is trying to, that's why they limit how many beverages you can get at one time, so you're not handing them off to your cousin JoJo, who's 15 years old. No. Color-coded bracelets, and I do believe some of the bigger venues aren't even allowing people in under the age of 21.
Yeah.
But for the most part, during the daytime, I don't think it's much of a problem as it is probably at night. It gets a little bit more hectic because it's dark. There are a lot of people, so you just want to be mindful that, but does it happen? I'm sure it does. Do I know of it happening? I plead the fifth. So in the morning, usually you have people congregating around the fairground, getting ready, getting everything lined up. It starts as early as 8 o'clock. I know a lot of staff.
Yeah, I think setup starts at 7 for floats and whatnot.
Right, for the floats and everything else, and then service industry. But then again, anybody that's working downtown or around the parade or doing anything special for St. Patrick's Day, you're out there cutting, you're doing everything you can to prep for the day. And you're doing things the day before.
Yeah.
Friday night is busy night.
Right.
Saturday morning, you want to be in the way that you have everything ready to go, so you don't have to worry about things, or if something pops up, you have time to handle it. So about 8 o'clock, that's when everything's in play. Everything's getting set up. About 9 o'clock, that is when you really start to see people coming in and setting up along the parade route and staking their little claims of the sidewalk. I would say one thing, too, also parade goers, when you're doing this, and this is an integral part of the day, be mindful of the businesses along the parade route so you're not blocking their entrance and exit, so people can get in and out. Just because you're not going to have a beverage there or eat there doesn't mean that it's fair to block access to that business. And then, of course, the big parade itself. You know, when you start hearing that noise and 1 o'clock, ready to rock. And then about 4 is when things start to taper off. The parade is mostly over at that point.
Right.
And that's when, you know, the shows start. You know, Howlin' Mouse does a great job. Martin's does a great job. I know a lot of the different locations, they do a great job of making sure that people are going to be entertained after the parade.
Yeah.
And there's a lot jumping around downtown after the parade. So I would say to people, don't just pack up and flee back to the suburbs. Get to know what's going on downtown, because people don't really realize there is a lot of fun things going on downtown.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Like I say, just keep in mind, going out to the big parade, you know, we'll probably revisit this at the end of it. And some of our service industry people, we'd like to hear from you next week. You know, how did your parade weekend go? You know, sometimes people will surprise you. I've seen marriage proposals. I've seen all sorts of baby announcements, just all sorts of things going on around. If you have a great story, you know, let us know. We'd love to hear about it from you. But, yeah, we just hoping everybody has a really good time. I'm so glad the weather's going to be good. Oh,
yeah, it's supposed to be really nice, actually.
You know, this weekend we had some things. They had to move the Food and Wine Festival, and they had to move the Run for the Rainbow to Sunday the other day because of weather. So we're hoping that the weather gods are good.
Any words of advice for first-time Paddy's goers?
First-time Paddy goers, you are 21 now, and this is your first St. Patrick's Day. Congratulations. Things do not do. Hey, waiter, give me something strong. I don't know. I know some bars have a drink called the I don't know, and you really don't want to know what's in an I don't know as far as I'm concerned, but take your chances if you will. Have a game plan. If you're going to have some beers, have some beers. If you're going to have margaritas, have margaritas. But by all means, no mix, no worry. Also good advice. Have your ID ready to go. Stay hydrated, wear a hat, and put on sunscreen.
Also, don't try this flashing money at a bartender at a crowded bar. Don't just wave it. You know, for one thing, it's rude to them.
Very rude.
And another thing, you don't know who's watching you flash your money at the bar.
Yeah, it's very amusing to see during a busy event, to see somebody do that. The next thing they know, they no longer have that money in their hand.
They've got a new friend.
Yes. They bought somebody else some cocktails.
Goodness. These are the sort of horror stories we want to hear about from you, dear listener.
Oh, yes. We do want to hear these horror stories. I mean, who did the most this past weekend?
Goodness. Well, you know, feel free to contact Dana on her social media platforms. You can always email us at news@wjtv.com. Would it be helpful if you put Heart of the House in the subject line, just so we'll get it to the right department here at Tall Tower Television. But anything else for our dear listeners?
Yes. Coming up, we have had some topics when I've been around about town about going on and doing things on location. So we're going to have something pretty exciting coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Very nice.
Just stay tuned, everybody.
It is your direct line to culture, entertainment, and service.
What are they thinking?
In the Magnolia State. Thank you for joining us, Heart of the House.
Thank you. been listening to Heart of the House, a podcast about the service industry by the service industry. I'm Dana Petty-Koenig. Join us next time for Heart of the House on YouTube and on podcast on 12 News On Demand. Copyright 2025 Next Star Media.